to the Wicomico River, April 28.
Said that during a physical exam, he mentioned that his eyesight wasn't all that good, and the doctor said, as long as you can see the ground for jumping, we'll take you. And that's what he did.
Your dad joined us at Area B1. He was artillery, I was infantry. Bill was out of those New England schools, and I was a Westerner. One day, a major from OSS asked us a simple question. Those of you who are interested in hazardous duty behind enemy lines remain here. Those who are not interested are excused. Well, most everybody left, but I thought that sounded interesting. That's why I was in a parachute regiment, I thought.
Somewhere in America, the United States is developing hundreds of recruits for this specialized service. Handpicked, with the aid of Army and Navy intelligence facilities, the men are taken under guard to the secret training camp which is to be their home for the weeks to follow. This isolated, heavily wooded terrain offers an excellent proving ground for the... From the moment of their induction, the identities of the recruit carefully guarded secret, which explains the use of masks in this film. From whence they came, or for what perilous mission they're being prepared, is the concern of nobody at camp. But all of them have this in common. They burn with a desire for vengeance, and they mean to deal it out as it was at close quarters with no holds barred.
We had hand-to-hand combat training. Instinctive firing. Limited amount of knife fighting. Demolitions. We've had many courses such as entry, and we're all oriented on getting ourselves trained for this mission, doing things that would increase our survivability.
Those days were filled with a sense of urgency. Everybody wanted to go and serve in that war. The men and the women had conviction that they were doing what was right to preserve precious values of humanity that were being violated. And off they went.
We went together on a ship from Fort Hamilton, New York, to one of the ports of Glasgow. We learned from T.E. Lawrence's books. They would emphasize how it is to know the local people, what their idiosyncrasies are, likes and dislikes, and above all, what are the taboos, things that you don't want to get involved in, so that you wouldn't give away the fact that you were an American so deep in enemy territory.
OSS did send in people to do underground work in sabotage, break up communications. Bill Colby was one of the most renowned one of these in his operations in Norway.
Your dad was wiry, small, but he could ski. He had taken charge of the underground group, mostly all of Norwegian background. Americans, many of them. Great peril. Norway was up, and Germans were pressing from all sides. And the mission, well, the mission was very exciting. To blow up bridges and trains to prevent the move to Norway. We were apprised of what was going on. We used V-mails. They were quick letters, some censored, I suppose. The mission was successful. Bill, Silver Star.
The whole concept of special forces came out of these operations, the beginning of the ideal way of building a force inside an occupied country.
My father was always the coolest character I ever knew. After the war, we used to go take picnics in France and say, this is where we jumped in, and this is the ditch where I lay in for 2 days while the Germans marched by. I remember asking him, why didn't you just shoot at the Germans? And he goes, there are only like 4 or 5 of us, 600 to 800 of them. They'd kill us all. He'd talk about the charge of the Light Brigade. 600 people racing into this valley, and I'd say it was a suicide mission. He said, yeah, but the glory of it all. When he volunteered, he was looking for action.